Hey everyone, welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini. So before we start, we want to make sure everybody don't forget to like us on Wednesday night OWCP Chats, like us on Federal Injury Centers, and don't forget to follow so that way you can get the videos when they come up. Don't forget to share with your Facebook groups, your coworkers, your union members, and everyone else. You know, like Chris always says, there's 2.8 million federal employees, and we only have 2,333 followers. Also, you know, I'm always making fun of Chris about his Twitter account. Don't forget to go on Twitter and follow him at Fed Injury Center. Twitter.
We have 334 followers as of right now. Let's make it 400 by the end of the hour, please.
Yes. Make sure to tell your coworkers and everyone. Hello, everyone. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Heather, Maria.
And just on Twitter, just so you know, those of you, the 334 of you that have a Twitter account and are following us, will have gotten a sneak peek of what I'm going to be talking about tonight because I posted it just a few days ago on Twitter.
Yeah. So people are always calling me in the middle of the lives.
Not answering right now.
Anyways, don't forget hashtag file a grievance when it's needed. And when you're trying to file your claim, and this is what our topic is about tonight on choosing the right OWCP doctors, change of treating physicians, and how to find a really great qualified OWCP doctor. And, you know, we're going to start off with the CA10, and then it comes to Chris's t-shirt, hashtag no more denied claims. If some of you don't understand, it's you don't want your claim denied, and you want to go down the right path from the start with your injury. And recap of last week, we told you don't file with your health insurance, no matter what. If you're not going to pursue anything, please file your CA1 and CA2, and if nothing happens, nothing happens. But we've been hearing in the last week that, you know, I waited 2 weeks, 8 days because I didn't think anything was wrong, and then over the weekend I started feeling all the pain. So let's get started. So we're going to start out. I posted the CA10. If those of you want to follow along with that, go ahead and click the picture, save it, and follow along. All right. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you see Chris looks a little sad, or he had a surgical procedure, and he's not feeling that well, and I forced him to be on here today. And as soon as he's done, he's done. So, but we will answer your questions if any arise after that we don't get to answer. So with that said, let's get started with the CA10, and don't forget to share.
We were asked what's the Twitter name again. It's at Fed Injury Center. No S on the end. At Fed Injury Center. You can be 335 if you're hurry. And if a case is denied, how many times can you retry? It's infinite. Just have something new to say. All right. So the CA10, I'm going to spend a little time on that because still, in spite of all the training that we've done, there's still, like, most people have never heard of it. It's what a federal employee should do when injured at work. It's broken down into 5 things, and you got to know these 5 things so that you have a fighting chance to get your claim accepted. First thing is report to your supervisor. Do that immediately so you don't lose benefits. The second thing is get a CA16 if it's a CA1 claim, and it tells you have a right to choose your own doctor. And we're going to talk a lot more about that in the second part of this. Most of what I'm going to talk about tonight is that. And then it says fill out a CA1 or a CA2. Supervisors are refusing to do this in some cases, and we have laws that protect you. If you're on Twitter, you'll see those laws. It'll be easy for you to pull those up, and your supervisor says no. And so you can put a stop to that by saying, yeah, but the regulation says this. And so fill out a CA1 or a CA2. The fourth part of that says get a notice of receipt, which is part of the CA1 and 2, but you're going to get a copy of everything, not just the notice of receipt. And your supervisor very well may say, I'm not going to give you a copy. Yeah. But if you are on Twitter, you can pull up the law that says they have to give you copies. And so that way you don't have to argue about it. Just say, you know, here's what the regulation says. Go ahead and give me my copies. I'll wait here while you finish filling it out. And then the fifth part of the CA10 tells you how to get paid in case you're off of work. It says you can take continuation of pay, which is 45 days of pay, assuming you report a CA1 injury within 30 days. You'll be eligible for that. Or you can use sick and annual leave. And so that's how the CA10 breaks down. Report to your supervisor, get a CA16, choose your own doctor, fill out a CA1 or a CA2, get a notice of receipt, and decide how you want to be paid if you're off of work. Now, all those things happen in a single setting. They don't happen multiple different times, multiple settings. And so it's actually really easy, but the problem is people are not doing it because it's overwhelming. The idea of this must be hard, it's not. It's exactly what I just told you. And I was able to summarize it in like a minute. So you can probably get it done in 15 minutes if you just sit and do it.
Yep.
So we really want you to make an effort to report your injuries. Even if you choose not to pursue it medically, you need to report it so that it's on file. If something bad happens, you want to be able to come back and prove that you reported your injury on time. If not, you're going to lose all your benefits and end up paying out of your pocket. So, you can avoid that just by simply sitting down, filling out the CA1, getting the notice of receipt along with copies of everything else, and having that stuff turned into DOL. So that's the CA10. Read some questions.
Oh my
Let
gosh.
me catch my breath.
Yeah. Okay. So we always talk about this, and Maria, she says, if a case gets denied, how many times can you retry to get the case approved?
It's an infinite number of times. If you have new information, then you request reconsideration, and you have 12 months from every denial to reconsider. So in order to qualify for reconsideration, you just need something new to present. So you take your denial letter that DOL sends you, give it to your doctor, and show the doctor in the letter where it says the exact reason why it was denied, and have your doctor fix that in their narrative report. Send the new narrative, the updated narrative report to DOL, and that's their new information they'll consider or reconsider. But you can do that an infinite number of times as long as you keep having new information.
Okay, Jerry, I spoke to somebody today, and I don't remember if it was somebody that you sent over, but I'm going to get in contact with whoever needs to call me. Kelly, you said you got your receipt for your CA2, but did not get a copy of what they filled out. What's the next step?
Go back and get it. And if they say no, tell them, it's my right to have it. The Code of Federal Regulations says so. And so I'm going to be wanting that now. While I actually can pull this up, and so I'll just tell you what the code is while we're talking.
Yeah, I'll always make sure when you guys are filling out your CA1s and your CA2s, get copies. Sit there while they're filling it out. Don't drop it off. Don't pick it up the next day. Make sure you guys are filling it out with them. Do not leave without copies. Everything for Department of Labor and OWCP regarding your case, get copies. Do not let them tell you that you only get a copy of your CA2 first page. Today I had somebody just call me on this, that the supervisor's refusing to give her anything, saying that that's not his job. Well, yes, it is his job to give it to her.
So I'll make sure specifically that this regulation is on the Twitter account for everybody that's following. But those of you that want to write it down, it's 20 CFR for Code of Federal Regulations, 20 CFR 10.110, letter A. And at the bottom of letter A, it says the employer shall also complete the receipt of notice and give it to the employee along with copies of both sides of Form CA1 or CA2. It says shall give it to the employee.
Yeah.
So that's the regulation where they have to give it to you. So just take this back and say you didn't give this to me. And if they refuse to give it to you, be sure you file a grievance. Or file a grievance anyways, because, it'll be fun.
Yeah, get your steward to go with you and do what my shirt says. If they don't give it to you,
anytime they don't follow the regulations, file a grievance.
We've heard from state presidents, local presidents, and that if just these little minor things, if you guys all continue to file a grievance, things will change. It won't change overnight, but it'll happen eventually.
That's right.
Yeah, like Frank said, get your steward involved. If there's any stewards on here, you guys should be inviting your friends and sharing this to a bunch of other people to get on. We're at 72 views. Come on, we got to get to 500 views.
And if there's any supervisors on here, read the shirt, because, this is what we're what we're pushing. We think that you need more grievances filed against you because you keep breaking more of the rules.
Yeah. Mike Kai from Texas. Angela.
What's up, Mike?
I will go ahead and post Attorney Eric Blowers' info for a really amazing, humble, honest federal attorney. And Tammy says, yes, get copies and keep everything. Our local clinics refuse to see USPS job injuries because they're poor certification procedures and slow payments.
Well, okay. This made me think of your sister. Okay.
Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
Those of you that know what movie that came from, post the movie here. I know what movie it came from. All right. So, what was it again?
Our local clinics refuse to see the USPS job.
Most clinics don't want OWCP because they don't get paid. And the reason they don't get paid is because they do a very bad job in helping you get your claim accepted. If your claim is denied, they're not getting paid. So who understands that you're on the same side of the table when your claim's accepted because they get paid too. And so denied claims are the fault of the doctor, except for those of you that refuse to get your claim initiated. It's your fault then. But once a claim is initiated and you go to the doctor, your denied claims will be the doctor's fault because they're writing bad narratives and they're not getting paid. So it's not that OWCP sucks for the doctor. It's just that the doctor sucks at doing OWCP.
Yeah. Paul, thank you for sharing with all your coworkers. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, very much.
Misty, you finally got your copies. Great. And you're welcome. Cleveland is in the house. Hello, everyone. Oh, Shelly, you're welcome. Okay. I can't remember who it was. I was trying to scroll. I think it was a Laura. Yeah. Laura, how do you find a doctor for impairment rating? My doctor doesn't do them.
Well, that's hard to do, but you can go to ACS and you know what? It's complicated, but go to Google, search DOL, ACS, go to provider search once you get there, go through the prompts, and then look for a physician, MD.
Yeah.
And you'll have to just call around and see who can do the 6th edition to permanent impairment, the 6th edition. If you do a 5th edition impairment rating, it's going to be a 0. It must be 6th. So that's the question you ask the doctor.
Cleveland is in the house. Awesome. Pennsylvania, hello. Misty says she has to learn how to file a grievance.
Yeah, please do that. And then tell me how to do it. Well, I can't file grievances. Damn it. I want to file grievances so bad you don't even know.
Abigail says, my claim was denied, then accepted, then not paid because the treatment center wasn't registered with Department of Labor. They tried to register and they were denied. Now I'm stuck paying.
Paying who? The doctor? Well, no, the doctor just needs to get credentialed and then they get paid. Don't pay the doctor. Tell the doctor to get credentialed. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Tennessee, Texas.
And it's lazy. And you know what happens? The billing people in doctors' offices think they're like a god over that office. They're not. Look, you're the billing person. Just get credentialed. Okay, do your job. Fill out the 5-minute form and get credentialed. Stop hurting people.
Yeah. Maria says, when you talk about letting supervisors know about an injury, we let them know by writing up a CA2 form, and then after you have 3 years to file for work comp?
No, listen. When you get hurt, report by telling your supervisor you're hurt and by filling out the CA1 or CA2 right away, immediately. Look, you have 3 years to report your injury, but now forget that. Report now. Unless you're somebody that hasn't yet, go do it. But don't wait ever. Just tell your supervisor and fill out the form.
Yeah. Okay, so here, this is adding on to what you guys are saying with clinics being denied and not finding a doctor. So this is one of the topics is how to find a qualified OWCP doctor. So Chris has trained a handful of doctors, and every now and then I'll go ahead and throw the list up there. If you haven't seen the list, I'll go ahead and put it again back on after this video. And that's all that we know of that Chris has trained. Now, if there's no one on that list in your state and you call me or you text me, I will send you a link. It says DOL/ACS.
Right.
And it's the suckiest site. And I give you the directions how to do it. I know somebody
asked me. But it's what there is.
That's all there is. We don't know anyone outside of the list that I'm going to post later on tonight.
But you can also go to Google and search OWCP injury doctor and your city name. So OWCP doctor Clearwater, Florida. OWCP doctor Birmingham, Alabama.
Right.
Okay. And if a doctor wants to be found, they will be if you search just like that.
Yep. And so when you go on the ACS site, there's 3 things you have to click. Provider search, click FICA, click agree. Down below, there's a box and you type in physician MD, and then your city and your state. And there may be 5, 1, or 100, because we've seen them all. You have to call each and every single one and speak to the billing manager, because the girls at the front desk don't know what federal work comp is. Ask the billing manager if they take federal work comp. Like this Abigail said, she went, the clinic wasn't even registered as a federal comp clinic, and then everything gets denied.
Look at what Jerry said. She said, still have a rural carrier supervisor refusing to file CA1 and give CA16s. So when they do that, you need to call OSHA when they refuse to file your CA1 or 2, and ask OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, ask, is it a violation for them to refuse to file my CA1 form? Because OSHA has a list of employee rights, and number 6 out of their 10 list, or their list of 10 things, is the right to report a work injury. So you have the right to do it. So you should just ask. And on the CA16s, you want to, it'll reconnect. On the CA16s, you want to file a grievance.
No. Oh, no.
Leave it. So if you can still see us, our Wi-Fi up and down in this house for some reason. Right now it appears to be down, but you know, we can.
If you can see us, let me know. Somebody. Yeah, it's live.
So if you can still see us. Okay, good. So it looks like you're paused here, but it turns out you can hear, so that's good. So moving on.
Okay. Veronica, you asked me if a doctor is interested in Chris training them and becoming a federal work comp doctor. What do you need to do? There's no questions that you can ask. Give them my number, 877-787-OWCP, and have them contact me, and I'll go from there, and we'll chat with them about all of this, because it's not as easy sometimes as they think it is. So a lot of them, and Chris knows, he's trained a handful of doctors and then they just drop out because they just can't do it anymore. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Can see what's going on in and out. Okay. I see. Okay, we can see you, but you're cutting out. I don't know why it's doing that. Can you check your Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi is fine.
We can see you. Yes, I can see you. Okay, they could see us.
All right, so I want to move on to the next topic.
Oh, repeat my number. My phone number is 877-787-OWCP. You can call me for questions, looking for a doctor, how to get on the ACS website, if you want to get in contact with Chris, if you need a doctor that wants to become a part of the OWCP world, just give them that number and we will take it from there. It says it's fine now.
Okay. Next topic.
Hold on. Veronica. Okay, Clay. I had knee surgery in January and still can't bend my knee all the way. I never got an impairment rating. Should I call the surgeon?
Yes.
Call the surgeon, Clay.
But you only need an impairment rating once you're at maximum medical improvement. You may not be. I don't know your situation, but if you're at MMI, then yeah, call your surgeon. That's definitely what you should do.
Yeah. All right. And Angela says, I have a doctor that has never done Fed Comp before, but she accepted my case. Should I switch? Well, you should switch if she hasn't gotten your case accepted. If you get a denial, and if she's not a part of OWCP and her practice isn't, then it's probably going to get denied unless she is registered with Department of Labor and knows how to write a nice 5-page narrative on your injury.
Yeah.
Donna says, Had a rotator cuff surgery 10 years ago, been having issues ever since, and now I have another tear. When DOL compensates me for my appointments, they are basing my pay on my pay from 10 years ago. Should they not have to pay me based on my pay right now?
No, they usually get that right. So that's probably right. Your time off is going to be based on the time that you're off at the time, the pay that you had at the time you're off.
Yeah.
You're not off now at your current pay. You were off then at your pay then.
All right. So the next topic, how to select first let's go about changing treating physicians that you guys have.
Yeah, well, we already talked about how to find a doctor. Okay, ACS, go to Google. We have a list of doctors. That's how you find a doctor. It's not easy. Nobody thinks it's easy. I'm not going to tell you it is. How to select the right doctor and why it's important to choose the right doctor up front is what I want to talk about right now. So, here's what happens. You get hurt and your supervisors oftentimes tell you to go to the urgent care. And, go or don't go, that's a personal decision. But the urgent care is probably going to have a nurse practitioner treating you. Nurse practitioner signatures alone are denials waiting to happen. And so that's not good enough. ER doctors aren't good enough. They don't have time to write the narratives. VA world-class doctors don't have time to write the narratives, and they're not trained. Family doctors don't know how to do this. And surgeons can be great surgeons, but they don't know how to get a claim accepted. So what ends up happening is you get stuck with one of these doctors and you can't get the claim accepted. Well, if you would have taken the time, if possible, to find an OWCP specialist like the ones we work with, and I'm not saying go to the ones we work with, I'm saying like those. I'm sure lots of them out there that I'm not associated with. I just don't know them. But not going to those doctors first puts you in an endless circle of denials. And here's why. Because let's say you go to a specialist. So many people are told to go to an orthopedic surgeon. Like I talked a few weeks ago about somebody with a sprained ankle who thought they had to go to an orthopedic surgeon. I mean, why? They're not going to do surgery on you. It's a sprain. It will just heal. Put ice on it and elevate it. So, if you sprain your ankle playing basketball, that's not a work injury, Narayan.
Or me with my flip-flops.
Don't play basketball in your flip-flops.
No.
So, but what's happening is you go to the surgeon, all right, and then you want to change treating doctors because that surgeon keeps getting your claim denied. And so you finally, through just luck, you find a OWCP doctor, but it's a general practitioner. But they specialize in OWCP, they're trained. Well, DOL almost every time will deny your request to change treating doctors because you're going from a specialist to a general doctor. They're going to deny you. And so you're stuck. You can't go see the general practitioner. The claims examiner's keeping you at the orthopedic surgeon's office. The orthopedic surgeon either can't get your claim accepted or refuse to get your claim accepted. And so what are you going to do? Denials are the fault of the doctor. You can't change doctors. So where do you go? Right, exactly, nowhere. Right, you're screwed.
Yep.
And so this kind of became painfully obvious to me. Sunday morning, I woke up early, and this is something I was thinking about. And I posted something about this on the Federal Injury Center's Facebook page and on this page, OWCP Chats. So go and look at it. But you not taking the time to find the right doctor has effects that never end, okay? It's so hard to get your change of treating doctor approved. And it's not fair. Like, you didn't ask to get hurt. All you want is to access all the benefits that are your right as a federal employee, but you can't access any of those benefits until your claim's approved. But the claims examiner won't approve a change of treating doctor away from a bad OWCP doctor to one that knows their stuff.
Right.
So, this, I always say that in OWCP, it literally takes an act of Congress to get a change. We need an act of Congress. So this is a really good time for everybody to contact their congressperson and say, look, changing treating doctors needs to be easier. It shouldn't just be where I get the doctor shop. I'm not for that, okay? When you find a doctor that can do the job, stick with them. But I don't understand why you should have to stick with a doctor who's demonstrated over and over they can't do the job. If they can't get a claim accepted, what the hell are you doing there? Why do you have to stay at a doctor that will continually get your claim denied? I can tell you this for sure. If you went to a surgeon who had failed surgery after failed surgery after failed surgery, your claims examiner and case manager would require you to go to another doctor. And how many of you were sent to second opinion doctors, or third opinion doctors, or fourth opinion doctors? Okay, that's because they don't like the opinion of the first doctor who says you have a work injury. But if you go to a surgeon and you have a failed surgery, they're not going to keep letting your surgery get failed. They're going to change doctors.
Yeah.
But you have a failed OWCP claims request, you get another failed OWCP claims request, and another one, and another one, and another one. You get more denied claims because they won't approve your change of treating doctor. So this isn't fair. I don't have a solution for you except to say this: choose your first doctor carefully.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I've always said, look, you can choose whoever you want, and you can. You know, if you have an OWCP death wish, then choose any doctor you want, because these claims are getting denied. Only 1 out of 13 people last year had an accepted claim. And, you know, 12 out of 13 people don't have an accepted claim. And the vast majority of them can't change doctors to someone who can get it accepted. So, you know, I'm pretty upset about it. And I don't know what to do about it except to get the word out for you to make a wise decision. Report your injury right away, but seriously, take your time finding a doctor.
Yeah. Don't
just jump right into the first doctor. Oh, this guy's the best orthopedic surgeon in town. I don't care. He can't get your claim approved. Oh, well, you know, I'm a veteran. I'm going to go to the VA. I don't care. They can't get your claim approved. And I love my family physician. We've been going there, you know, since I was a kid. I don't care.
Yeah, he's right.
Can't get the claim approved. I don't care if you like the doctor. In fact, when you go to one of our doctors and you don't like them, I don't care. I want you to like them, but we're getting your claim approved. And it's impossible to find someone that can. So you've got to take the time to find a doctor that will get your claim approved. Otherwise, it's, you know, denied claims lead to disability. They lead to, you know, anxiety, stress claims. You can't get approved. And they lead to bankruptcy. They lead to financial distress, disaster, and all because you didn't take the time to find a good doctor first. So I don't care how great your orthopedic surgeon is at doing surgery. I couldn't care less. If you find a good OWCP doctor, they can refer you back to that great surgeon.
Yeah.
Every single time. They'll refer you to the surgeon you love. But without an accepted claim, you're paying that surgeon out of your pocket, and you're accessing none of your federal benefits.
Yeah, I mean, here, this is crazy. I even found it crazy. We have a viewer, 2 viewers on here, a steward and a roll carrier, and their steward, that are driving once a week from South Carolina to Clearwater, Florida. 11-hour drive. I think they stay 2 days, and then they go back home. And you know what? She's coming here because, one, she knows that we are going to do everything in our power to get her case accepted. And we hear it all the time. There is no doctors in South Carolina. I mean, we feel bad that she has to drive that far, but you know what? She's doing the right thing, because later on we'll just send her, she needs a referral to a specialist. We'll send her back to South Carolina and we will help her find one. But I mean, we have people from Pensacola, we have people from Tallahassee, Jacksonville that are coming all this way to see us because they understand finding the right doctor right at the beginning is going to be worth it, instead of going to the doctor, like Chris is saying, and trying to see if it'll get accepted and then it doesn't. And then they give you a hard time because then you have a $300 bill and you're calling me asking me, how do I pay my bill?
And you know what? I'm getting, because I've told you all that you can send narratives to me if you like, and I'll take a look at them. But what's happening is you're sending me narratives from doctors, and I'm looking at it going, what is this?
Yeah.
This is no causation report. This isn't a narrative. This is, today I got an op report, operation report. You know, op reports don't get claims accepted. It just shows you had an operation. And doctors don't know what they're doing when it comes to OWCP. They have no clue how to write these narratives, and they're not going to try. You know, and then I had somebody else today, a doctor's office, who called because somebody out there said, hey, call, you know, Chris and Gini, and maybe they can tell you how to get a claim or how to do OWCP.
Yeah.
Listen, I cannot tell a doctor's office how to do OWCP in a 15-minute phone call. Right? It takes months of intense training. And So I appreciate that everyone wants doctors in your area to do this, but the girl that called, I don't think that she was qualified to answer the phone. So
and she was the office manager too.
You know, it's a shame, but that's who you're dealing with out there. And you know, this one had no idea that there was credentialing, didn't have any idea that there's pre-authorization, didn't have any idea that they had to write a narrative report to get the case accepted, definitely wanted you to see a nurse practitioner, wasn't sure how to get the MD, in fact, didn't know the MD was a supervisor to the MPs.
Exactly.
So, and it's their business. So this is what you deal with out there.
Yeah.
It's just one joker after another just out there. They care about the money until they don't get any of it because they did a bad job, and then they send you packing. So here's what I can tell you. I'm crossing my fingers for you that you have one of those doctors and they send you packing. Because when they do that, I want you to get in writing that they're releasing you from care. If you can get your doctor if they want to release you from care, put it in writing, give it to your claims examiner and say, today's my lucky day. I have the initial choice of doctor. I'm going to go select a new doctor.
Yes.
Don't let them select a new doctor for you. You go find your own doctor because now you know. So if you're one of those people that's stuck in, OWCP denial hell, in this endless loop of denials, it's your time to get out.
Yeah.
And I'm writing a letter, like a sample letter. I'm having Eric take a look at it to see if we can actually give it to you. But what I wanted to say is I'm changing treating doctors because my current doctor has gotten my claim denied X number of times over X number of months or years. And how many more denials do I have to take before I get a fair chance of getting my rights, getting my benefits? So that's what you need to be saying. So if your doctor can't get the job done, respectfully request them to fire you as a patient and get that in writing.
Yeah.
And you know what? If the doctor writes a letter that says the patient asked me to release them from care, rip that up and tell them to try again.
Yeah.
That's not a good letter. I'm releasing them from care. Believe me, they don't want you anymore. No offense to you, but they're not getting paid and they don't like working for free.
That's the whole thing. And this is why you guys get those bills, and this is why they don't even want to see you anymore. We had somebody call, today's Monday, and she said because he's not an OWCP doctor, he saw her a month ago, he can't get her claim accepted, he's not getting paid, so he just dumped her. And they're not taking her phone calls anymore, which is pretty not right. But they hear her name, hi, my name is Gini Prasad, and then they hang up on her or keep her on hold forever. And that's really crappy. And now she has a $528.10 bill. I remember that. But
so request your doctor to release you from care if they can't get it done and if they are frustrated from doing work for free.
Yeah.
And then let them know that as soon as another doctor gets the claim accepted, you'll be glad to let them know they have an accepted claim so they can bill everything again. And they'll get paid then. But they're never getting paid as long as they can't get your claim accepted. And you can't access any of your benefits until the claim gets accepted.
Yeah.
So ditch that doctor or have that doctor ditch you and move on and find someone else. That's the only solution I have right now. Because you're not going to get to move from a specialist to a GP. It's awfully hard right now to change treating doctors. I'm seeing denial letter after denial letter on change of treating doctors, and it's not fair. I don't want to say it's a coordinated effort to hose you, but this effort is hosing you. It's definitely happening.
Yeah, let me get to some questions here. I know a lot of you are trying to get this girl's question answered.
Real quick, before she answers another question, there's still only 334 Twitter followers.
Somebody just asked for the Twitter address.
At Fed Injury Center. Why are we not at 400 yet?
At Fed Injury Center for Twitter. There you will get live updates on rules, statutes, laws, anything that's important that Chris finds is important for you guys and all federal employees only.
Tomorrow I'm going to post on there the law that says supervisors have to give you copies of the CA1 and CA2. I hope you're there to get it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm pulling for you.
Donna, I'm stuck with Dr. Quack. I want to sign up with Dr. Quack. I'm stuck with Dr. Quack for 10 years, not fixing me, but refuses to release me. Can't switch doctors to get any help.
You need to, you know what else? Maybe ask for a nurse case manager to be assigned to your case. Because, what they want is for cases to be closed up.
Yeah.
If you can get a better result in your claim, you can get better. Imagine that after 10 years, you can actually start getting better. Yeah. So ask for a nurse case manager.
So Donna, if you can hear, give me a little heart. ask for a nurse case manager, and let's get rid of Dr. Quack. Send him to me. I want to go see Dr. Quack.
You know what? Hashtag no more Dr. Quacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that.
No more Dr. Quacks.
I like that name. All right, Shannon Williams. I know there's a few people want Chris to answer her question. Is the supervisor supposed to make sure the paperwork you provide to them is sent to HR?
Well, you don't really care where it goes once you provide it. What you care about is that it must be submitted to DOL within 10 days of you turning it in. They have 10 days by rule. And I can post that on Twitter too. The rule that they have 10 days. I will. 10
Twitter.
days.
Get Twitter, people.
Look, it's helpful. I'm not posting what I like, you know, who my favorite football team is, who I want to win the NBA championship. I'm not posting anything like that, okay? None of it. My food nothing, okay? I'm posting OWCP.
Yeah.
Very helpful tips. 334 people on here can tell you that it's helpful.
Christine, my surgeon of 12 years just moved out of my area 3 hours away. How do I switch surgeons in this situation?
Okay, now that is a situation you can change. If your surgeon left you, you can change doctors, but you've got to send a letter in saying, my surgeon left me, they moved 3 hours away, I need to change doctors. And then you tell them which doctor you want to change to. Don't let them choose that doctor for you.
Hey, I see Ronnie Stutz on here,
Mr.
the
Stutz,
National NRLCA president. How are you doing this evening? And Shannon says, I just got the fax number today. I complained about my previous HR and got another one. She was the one that told me she hasn't gotten anything since February, and that's when I got hurt. Basically, the only thing they got was a CA1.
Well, you filled out a CA1, and they're supposed to turn the CA1 in, and so that's probably all there was to get.
Yeah.
So you're okay.
And management does suck.
But you need to make sure.
They suck.
You need to make sure that that the DOL got it. So you need to call and make sure that they got your CA1. Do you have a 9-digit claim number? That's how you know.
Yeah. Look, make sure you guys check your DOL papers, and we've heard this before, and so I'm telling you this now. If you're not sitting there with the supervisor, because there's been one supervisor that has done this to a patient that we know, they put the post office address as the
person's home address.
Employee's home address, and so the employee was like, I'm not getting anything. What are you guys talking about? And everything was going to the post office to the supervisor and not the patient's home.
It's got to be some sort of violation.
Yeah, so don't forget to, what does my shirt say? File a grievance. So that's why when we tell you guys to sit there and make sure everything is filled out and you review it before signing anything, this is why, because there are shady supervisors and management. And I know those people outside of the post office are probably like the nicest people, but you have to protect yourself, to protect your job so you have an income.
Yep. So
make sure. Shannon, you're having to go to Clearwater. Oh yeah, you are coming to us.
Oh, somebody asked for a Twitter address. I'm glad you asked. At Fed Injury Center. We're at 335 now, so one of you responded. Let's get some more. 65 more. I mean, everybody on here could just do it. What are you waiting on? Go ahead. 65 more. We're going to get to 400 tonight.
Lori, I have a complicated situation. Injured. Stayed at work for 9 days. Injured again. Went to the ER. I reached out to John at your office. He was going to have someone call me the next day to find a new doctor for me as well with the help of other issues. He wanted me to call him if I didn't receive a call back. I called twice and sent a text message, but haven't heard back from John. It's been 3 days now. I live in Cape Coral. What do I do? Lori, I work for Dr. DiTomaso in Fort Myers. If you can message me, I will go ahead and message me your phone number, message me on the Wednesday night chats. Send me your phone number and I'll have Dr. DiTomaso give you a call tomorrow and get you in immediately. Ishmael, don't you get a nurse case manager when you file OWCP case after an injury or operation?
Not every time. Not everybody has a nurse case manager. But sometimes maybe it'll help to request one. You know, I'm just throwing ideas out there because changing treating doctors is so hard. And, nurse case managers may have a different motive than the claims examiner. And maybe that motive will help you get it to a doctor that can get the job done.
Angela, you want the number to call? The phone number, you get me. It's 877-787-OWCP. And call me. If I don't respond, it's because I'm on another call, and some of these calls take anywhere from like 10 minutes to 45 minutes.
It depends on how much of your story you want to tell her, because she'll listen to every single bit of it.
I have a heart. I mean, and Chris does too. This bothers me with you guys. Okay, so Kim, here's a long one. Here, you go ahead and read it because it's a very long one, so I'm going to have Chris read it to himself.
2 years ago, I filed a workers' comp case. My steward told me to do a CA2 because it was an ongoing case. After filing, I went to the doctor's care here. The doctor put a restriction that I couldn't lift anything over 10 pounds. It took like 4 months for my case to get approved. Hey, you're the one that got your case approved, though. That's good.
Yeah.
During this time, I had a nerve study and went to a specialist. I was told that there was nerve damage and carpal tunnel in my arm. Specialist doctor had me wear a brace. Well, now 2 years later, my arm is worse, and they think I have torn rotator cuff. I've called DOL. My case is still open. I was told to go back to the doctor and start my case, which I've done. I have a referral to another hand specialist and a referral to have an MRI done on my rotator cuff. They're telling me that I have to wait on workers' comp to approve this. What do I need to do? My arm is worse. Need help, please. Okay, so the surgeon is not going to do surgery on an OWCP claim without an accepted OWCP claim. So you had carpal tunnel before, all right? Carpal tunnel is basically here, okay? I'm not a doctor, okay, but I work around some. But rotator cuff is up here. Now, I don't know a lot, but that sounds like two totally separate injuries. Unless rotator cuff happened as a consequential condition from the carpal tunnel. I don't know. The point I'm making is you got to go to the doctor and have them write causation showing how the shoulder is work-related. You may need a new CA2 form, a new CA1 form. Who knows? Okay, but you got to figure out what your condition is and how it happened. I'll be happy to help walk you through that if you want to give us a call tomorrow to let you know what to do. But that's the key, is you got to get your shoulder accepted. Even if you get your carpal tunnel reopened, if you don't have an accepted condition of rotator cuff, they won't. No, OWCP will never allow surgery to your shoulder. So that's got to happen. You just got to take it in order. I'll be happy to help you with that if you want to give us a holler tomorrow.
Donna, I read this and I just want to LOL. I just want my doctor to fix me. After 10 years, he keeps sending me to therapy, and he says it takes time to heal. After 10 years, my patience has run out. Fix me or release me. And Dr. Quack is 85 years old. Wow.
Well, he's got experience going for him.
So do what Chris says. Ask him to write you a letter and release you and get yourself another doctor and have him fire you as a patient, because that's what Chris tells anybody that asks. Or call your case manager and tell her that Dr. Quack is 85 and you're not getting any better. I mean, after 10 years of, have you been doing therapy for 10 years?
It sounds like it. But let me say this too.
Wow.
Hey, just in case there's a claims examiner on here watching, I am, yes, telling people to ask their doctors to fire them as patients. I don't want to do that. I mean, we work with doctors. I wouldn't want patients to come and say, hey, fire me as a patient. That'd be a bad day for me, because that means we did something wrong. But these doctors are doing stuff wrong, okay? They're getting claims denied. And as claims examiners, you're letting it happen because you're not allowing people to have another doctor. So, we're just saying, okay, these are what the rules are. How do we navigate through your rules? If you change the rules, I'll stop saying get your doctor to fire you. I promise I'll stop saying it immediately.
She has been getting therapy on and off for 10 years. OMG.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say whether or not that's good or bad. But if you're going on and off for 10 years and not getting your claim accepted, that's altogether bad. What's next?
Shannon, I sent the other documents and they never sent them off. I'm having to do a conference call for fact-finding because they have labeled me as AWOL. They're saying I don't have an on-the-job injury because my case was denied. What? I gave my supervisor CA17 and doctor visits. DOL hasn't received.
So the doctor is also supposed to send the CA17 in to the claims examiner. You don't just give it to the supervisor. You also send it in to the claims examiner. So if the doctor didn't do that, be sure you do it. You want your claim examiner to get a copy of the 17. And your supervisor is saying you're AWOL because you don't have a work injury. They're saying you're hurt, but it didn't happen at work. And how do we know it didn't happen at work? Because your claim was denied. So they're saying the claim examiner says your injury is not work-related. You've got to get that overturned. You've got to get your doctor to write a narrative that will get your claim accepted. And in the meantime, get with your union, because your union has power. And if you're not working with your union, you're making a mistake.
And Shannon, you're seeing Dr. Kemmerman, and he's awesome.
You know, consider filing an EEO complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Consider filing a grievance, and, you know, do what you can to protect yourself in the process.
Okay, Tammy wished there was a law about supervisors not filing a CA1 form.
Well, there is a law, Tammy.
Tammy?
And if, Tammy, you're following me on Twitter, but if everyone else is following me, they'd see what that law is, because I'm going to post it tomorrow. There's definitely a law. If the supervisors don't fill out a CA1 form or don't turn it in, then they are wrongfully impeding the claim. And the U.S. Code and the Code of Federal Regulations make it clear that it is a crime to wrongfully impede a claim under FECA. So there's definitely a law. It's one of the more fun ones that I talk about when I present this stuff at places like union meetings, state conventions, and national conventions. I've got a really great presentation I've fine-tuned. It's just waiting for someone of any union to invite me to a national convention. I'm going to unleash it on the world during that. But it includes information such as what to do when the supervisor doesn't file your CA1 for you.
This is what Shannon says. The supervisor that's saying that she didn't get into a job injury was the one that called 911 for her. Oh my God. Oh my God. At the office.
Okay, let me just say something. Shannon, I don't know anything else about your case right now. Don't tell me anything else either if you know. I know nothing else about your case, but I feel pretty good that I could fake that I'm a doctor and get your claim accepted. Give me a break.
That's ridiculous.
How can your claim be denied if they called 911 after your injury on the job? I know how. Because what they said is, hey, we agree that you were in an accident, but we also agree that you have an injury. But the doctor has not been able to prove that the injury was due to the accident. I guarantee you that's what happened. It's the most elementary school crap, and doctors can't connect that one dot. Sorry.
Tammy, you said I filled it out 2 weeks later from Scott's injury, not the supervisor. So, you gave it to the supervisor?
No, it's so, look, you have 3 years. They're supposed to give it to you right away. You should have gotten a CA16. Unfortunately, you're past all of that now.
Yeah, and, Tammy, you know all these things.
No, she does, but her situation is really severe, and I don't blame her for her frustration.
Yeah, I know.
I'm frustrated now that I'm just thinking about it again.
Okay. Nadine, I don't know what info on pay rate settings going from OWCP to retirements. Do you get wiggies?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to really help you on things related to retirement. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But if you give Eric Blowers a call, he specializes in all that stuff. So it's not that we can definitely point you in the right direction.
Summer, my postmaster is definitely shady. I like that. She does not send any of my paperwork to work comp. She told me I have to send it myself.
Well, that's not what the rule says.
Oh my gosh.
Follow me on Twitter. I'm going to post that law.
Yeah, and Summer, we also did a huge training, a semi-training last week and then one before on the rules and statutes of all of these. So if you want, go back to...
It's been viewed 22,000 times from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, look for that one that was viewed 22,000 times, and we have it up there. I think, what do we do? Something about supervisors. It was all about supervisors. It was a huge one. And
I took him out behind the woodshed.
Yeah, afterwards he did that.
Yeah.
And watch the video and write down all the rules and the laws, because Chris, said them slowly for you guys to pay attention. Julie says, I was injured at work and have reached my MMI. What forms do I need for claiming the money for the disability?
Well, once you get put at MMI by the doctor, your doctor does a 6th edition impairment rating, and you attach your impairment rating report to a CA7 claim for compensation and select letter D, schedule award.
Okay, Paul, you said, I absolutely agree with the union should help their members with grievances for OWCP claims. We are unfortunately in a local that betrays her workers. So from a state president that we know, he said when stuff like that happen and you feel that way, you need to contact your national reps.
Yeah.
And he said, do a paper trail, email, write down all the info. Don't just send half stuff. Oh, my union isn't helping. Tell them the entire story, you guys. You have to.
And he even said that, if it was happening in his local, he would hope that you would not give up and you would take it up the chain.
Wendy, in the event of a traumatic injury, if the worker cannot file paperwork to the injury, should a family member?
You can have somebody that you designate fill that out for you. I always say a union rep, but yeah, it says that you can designate it to somebody else.
Nadine says case managers now give first names and last name initial. Is this legal, and what's the purpose of this?
Who are they giving it to?
Went into effect November 2018.
Hold on. Case managers now give first name and last initial. Well, that's a privacy thing, first name and last initial. As long as they don't identify you fully, they're not violating any privacy laws. First name, last initial is pretty common in healthcare now.
Sue says, I'm at MMI working limited duty. Should I get an impairment rating? I can retire in 18 months.
Well, should you get an impairment rating? It really just depends on your situation and what your doctor thinks. If you have a condition that is eligible for an impairment rating, I definitely think that you should talk to the doctor about it, but you need to be at MMI first. But if you're eligible for it, I would not forgo that right. I'd go for every right that I have available to me.
From the from a lot of, it's hard. Look, it's hard to understand when you guys are telling us that these union folks are not helping you, because the ones that we know are
they're tremendously helpful
in there and help. So we hear it all the time that maybe it's something that you've done in the past or whatever. But if you come across this problem, there's district reps, there's NBAs, there's vice presidents in the union, there's a treasurer, the secretaries, and then, go to the next chain, go to the national level, find out who your national contact is and contact them. It sucks, but something's got to get done if you want to be heard.
Somebody wants to help you. You just have to keep looking until you find someone.
Louise said, they said you can only get reimbursed for 100 miles round trip.
You can be paid 100 miles round trip for travel to and from the doctor or, treatment, but you're only eligible for that if your claim's accepted. You fill out an OWCP 957 form.
Dave Walker says, our postmaster refuses to give a copy of a completed CA1 to an injured carrier. Battled 3 weeks and still refused. Finally got a copy today from GOL. The supervisor and PM are converting the claim. Controverting the claim. Is this considered impeding the claim process by refusing to give a copy knowing they were controverting?
So refusing to give you a copy does not impede the claim. If they don't send it to DOL, that impedes the claim. But box 36 on the second page of the CA1 asks if the employer intends to controvert the claim. That's why they didn't give you the form. But they violated 20 CFR 10.110 letter A, where they shall give you copies of both sides of form CA1. File a grievance. File a grievance. They violated the law. So don't do nothing. And they can only controvert your claim if it's not found to be a legitimate work injury. Fortunately for you, the claims examiner has makes the final decision on that, not supervisors and not postmasters. They have no role in adjudicating your claim, none.
Right.
They ask them if it should be, but they have to have a good reason. Because I don't think this is a real injury is not a good reason. And the doctor's narrative has more weight than everyone else combined. So be sure you have a good doctor's narrative, and the doctor's narrative can bury your postmaster.
Yeah, does a postmaster working part-time at the office and, has a medical license?
Maybe.
Hey?
Don't choose your postmaster as your treating doctor.
Seriously, if they tell you that it's not a work injury, say, can you show me your medical license, please? We tell people to say that all the time.
Yes, I tell people to say that. I'm being sarcastic.
I would.
She probably would. Don't look for more trouble from your supervisor than what you're already going to have. They're going to give you lots of trouble. But they can try to controvert your claim, but only a claims examiner can make that final determination. And that decision will not be made until after reviewing the documentation from your doctor.
Correct.
Make sure your doctor's narrative is good.
Okay, Ishmael. You want to know if other agencies have the same problem with supervisors, such as TSA and other government workers? 100% yes.
That's why I spend so much time talking about supervisors, because
Yes.
it happens everywhere.
Every agency. It happens with AFGE, the NALC, the mail handlers, APW, the rural carriers, Social Security, TSA, and Border Patrol, all of them. Everybody.
We even had a supervisor who gave an employee a very hard time. The employee was her sister.
Yeah.
Man, this thing, it has no bounds.
So yeah, in every agency we hear this. We train all agencies. We go to all agency union meetings and state conventions and whatever.
But
so,
this is why we do this. We train and we teach this stuff because we know your supervisors are trying to hose you at work. And so, if I can show you the Code of Federal Regulations on, how to combat what they're doing, lots of managers won't knowingly go against the law.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to just give you an extra swing to, punch the swing with.
Angela, we don't know anyone in New York.
Sorry. In
Buffalo, anywhere in New York. Well, you'll have to go on the ACS website. You definitely will. And I'm sorry about that. We don't know anyone. Heather Sarojini, I asked my postmaster where he got his MD license. He turned away and stormed away. Oh, there you go.
High five.
High five. That's awesome, Heather. Heather doesn't take any crap from anyone, and I like that. Luis, you said I can't get paid for my mileage at all. You're going to get paid for your mileage if your case is accepted only.
Your claim has to be approved, and then you need to attach documentation to your OWCP 957 form that shows how far you drove from home to the doctor's office and some proof that you were actually at the doctor's visit, like a printout of the appointment signed by the doctor.
Yeah. So that's, if it's not accepted, go back, take a look, make sure your case is accepted. And you guys have to always remember all these things that we tell you that you can get all your benefits. You're only going to get them if your case is accepted. So don't try to file your CA7s and your mileage and your reimbursements and anything to DOL, because it's going to get denied and you're not going to get paid for them if the claim isn't accepted.
First, the claim must be approved.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go 3 more minutes.
3 more. Okay, Laura, I was injured 3 weeks ago before going regular at the post office. This left me stuck as an RCA. I've seen 5 different doctors getting opinions on getting back to carrying mail and have been told it won't happen. I'm currently being allowed to work in the office, but how can I ever move out of the RCA position to where I can earn leave and benefits?
You need to get with your union on that. I can't tell you how you're ever going to physically be able to do a job because I don't know your condition. But you need to work with your union because your union has some pull there, and they can help you with that. And then, make sure your doctor understands what your goal is and what your motivation is. You want to be a regular carrier there. And so be sure that they understand that, and they're putting you through the proper therapy and treatment to get you back full, at full capacity, or at least as close to it as possible.
This is so awesome. David, I love this. My day off is on Thursdays, so the last month I've been hooked on watching Wednesday night OWCP chats while having my porch night and drinking bourbon. You guys are great. Oh my God, that's so awesome. We're like a little TV show where you get hooked on it.
I'm drinking water tonight, but they don't let you drink bourbon after surgery.
Nadine, I filed a grievance fall 2011. I read a call that they were closing it out because it was too old. I did what I need. They are at fault. Can I request it continues?
So they're going to close your case if it's inactive. If you're not getting treatment anymore, they're going to close the case. So it'll be closed due to inactivity. If you want to keep it open, go back to the doctor and keep it open by having bills sent in to DOL. I'm not suggesting you go have bills sent to DOL that are not valid and necessary, but if you still need treatment, you still need your claim open, then you also need to be getting with your doctor.
Yeah, so that's it for tonight. Let me just let you guys know that I'm going to read off where we have locations at. That's all we have. So I know you guys keep asking, do you have a location? Do you have a location? So here it is. We have Massachusetts locations: Norwood, Worcester, Quincy, Woburn.
Not Worcester.
Sorry, Norwood, Quincy, Woburn, Clearwater, Florida, Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee. Those are all the Federal Injury Center's locations. Now, these are the doctors that Chris has trained within the United States, and that's it. That's all the doctors that we know. Rockville, Maryland, Vienna, Virginia, Racine, Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois, Indianapolis, Indiana, West Palm Beach, Miami, Florida, Houston, Texas, Grand Prairie, Texas. I said Houston twice. Greensboro, North Carolina, and Tucson, Arizona. That is it. The end.
It's probably not all that it will ever be, but it's all it is right now.
Yeah. So outside of that, you've got to go on the ACS website. We do not have anyone in New York and California. We don't have anyone. So with that said, thank you again for watching our Wednesday night OWCP chats. We're trying to get it. He needs to go back and get some rest. And don't forget to watch us every week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday night OWCP chats. Follow, like, and share all of our videos and our pages. And don't forget to add Chris on Twitter at Fed Injury Center.
Only one person has signed up this hour.
And if anybody has any more questions, please go ahead. You can comment below. We will go reading them and reviewing them after. And Mr. Stutz, if you're still on, I'm still waiting for the invitation to come to National in Dallas.
Mr. Stutz, follow me on Twitter at Fed Injury Center. I'm posting something new in the morning.
And everybody, you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Bye.